Good morning to the G man. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, Coach Jay. How are you?
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
It's a beautiful
Monday
Monday
morning.
morning here in the Northeast. Got a bunch of rain over the weekend. There were some thunderstorms, man. I haven't seen thunderstorms in forever.
Yeah, we had that last week here, and it's been sunny and 70s. Last couple of, it feels like I'm back in California. Honestly, here in the Midwest, it's been really nice. The weather's been really nice here.
Lucky you. Lucky
Mhm.
you.
I know. I know.
So we started a little bit early just to let some people get some notifications that we were live, so they can come on board. We got some good feedback over the weekend saying, "Hey, could you?" It's kind of hard. We get some of us get reminders and notifications, and so it takes us a minute to try to find a place and get going. So we wanted to give everybody some time. We have some new visitors here, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
I want to say hello to Kevin Capelli, Ron Connor, Derek, Zach, Dylan, Chuck. Holy cannolis. And Mr. Settle himself is joining our program this morning, which is good.
Muggy fresh.
Yeah, Dougie Fresh. So, um, G Man,
What's up,
over
guy?
the weekend, you what'd you get done? Did you do any more house cleaning, prepping? I mean, our studio's already set up, so what'd you take care of?
Well, I worked on our website, trying to get our podcast up. So
Yeah.
sorry didn't make the Monday deadline, but should have it up this week. Ran into some glitches. My son flew into town, which was
Oh,
awesome. Picked him up
nice.
on Saturday, so his dealership is kind of on half mast. He was laid off, and he's sitting at home with nothing to do. So we said, "Hey, come out to Kansas City and hang out with us." So he's been out here for the weekend, where at least for the last couple of days, it's been nice to have him here.
Nice. Nice. As you can see, there's so much more glow coming from your side because you have all this studio set up, lighting and stuff. It looks good. I'm over here in the dark trying to figure out so I don't get a halo or whatever weird stuff behind me, but doing my best here. Hopefully everything checks out to pan out. All
Mhm.
right.
Well,
Before we
hey,
get started,
I was gonna
G-Man,
say
you had
before we
some
get
announcements,
started,
right?
a couple of things I'd like to mention.
Yeah.
If you give me just a second. One is I want to say thank you to everybody and everybody that's on today, and that have been supporting us for the last week or so as we kind of launched this thing on Facebook. We had to move up our timeline. We eventually were going to come out with some assets online and build our website, build out a presence. However, we had a couple of large contracts out here in the Midwest that we wanted to really focus in on for the first 8 to 10 months before we really started to get out in the open. And with this with the pandemic and the shelter in place orders and all that stuff, we had to really come up with a way to get ourselves out there and kind of get out in front of the marketplace. And so we want to say thank you for that. It's hard enough to start a business, let alone a business in the face of a global pandemic.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's been a challenge, and I think the support from everybody out there has been a little bit overwhelming. We went from 0 to 120ish likes in a matter of days. So we want to say thank you. We'd like to keep the momentum going. So we're going to keep the broadcast going as long as we're here. And if you can share often, please share this with friends, share it with people that you know in the industry, help us to spread the word. And then I am going to start going on every day with a parts tip. So I'm going to commit. It is coming up on the end of March, but for every day for the month of April, I'm going to post at least one parts tip up there that
Wow.
you can be doing while we're going through this. So I know that the president just went on yesterday and extended the what is it called, the social distancing, at least until the end of April.
Right.
And here in Kansas City, the shelter in place order is in place until the end of the month. So we're going to most likely be here. So what I thought is to bring value to this industry as best I can. I'm gonna post up what I know about parts in some small, like 3 to 5 minute segments. So keep a lookout for that. I'll start putting them up here shortly, but just a little bit of news from our front here.
Cool, man. Well, thank you, G Man. That's one heck of a commitment. Obviously, I'm going to have to match it. So I'll do my best to, I guess, I will be providing service advisor tips on the daily for every day in April, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't know I was
Geez
going to do
Louise.
that. So by the way, I surprised him.
Yeah, surprise. It's like, man, what about talk about calling me up to the table? That was
Mhm.
good. It's good. I appreciate that. So I think we're good people in here. I appreciate everybody who's on board. Today, this video is to share a technique used by high-performing million-dollar sales advisors throughout the country. Now, I have personally seen a 30% or more increase in sales on advisors using this one technique on a single day, on a week, or on a month. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about OSN. So in this video today, you're going to learn about what OSN means and how it can improve your sales numbers. Now, listen, I got to be brutally honest with you. Some of you watching this right now are going to fail. I'm going to tell you that you're going to fail. And it's not because you applied and tried it. It's because of those that decided not to do it. So that's the only way you're going to fail.
Why would somebody choose not to? Enlighten me, Coach Jay.
It's just too much. It's too much pressure. It's too much work. It's man, you know, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like people have to be committed to doing something like this, and they just don't do it.
So I think that's one thing I see when you want to try something new, and potentially the upside's large. And we talked the last episode, we were talking about change and how people are having a natural aversion to change, even when it's better, right? Even when it's something that's for the positive. And so you're talking about a 30% increase. If I'm an advisor, I want a 30% increase, right?
Yeah.
So I think anybody would want to jump on, but it's the ego that gets in the way. It's the fear of failure, right, that jumps in front of you. And so the aversion to change is coming from those sources. So if as you listen to this, if you're something you want to try to execute, something I think you should execute, but think about that. Think about what your people will be going through, or if you try personally, what you'll be going through as you try to make this change. So.
Yeah, and so for those of you that take the leap of trying it, I really want to get your feedback. I want you to come onto this thread, and I want you to leave your comments. Say, hey, Coach Jay, I tried it and it worked, or I increased some. And I'll tell you what, one of the biggest secrets of all is this is the first step of our 7-step process to become a $1 million service advisor. Now, what does that $1 million service advisor mean? We're going to get to it and share it in the upcoming weeks and in the future with you. But that is our program, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So actually, I'm stepping into step number 1, which is critically important, and it's called preparation. This is part of what preparation is all about. So before I get into it, hey, don't forget to like this page and turn on your notifications to know when we're on, so you don't lose this content. You know, when you don't lose in the notifications of this content. So just know that. So back to the nitty gritty. OSN.
You gonna shrink me down, bro, while you go through this?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this small. OSN. Can you see this, Big G man?
I can see it now, baby.
Nice.
You got it.
OSN. So what is OSN? You ready? Super simple. Some of you are like, oh man, that's too easy. It's your opportunity sales number. Your opportunity sales number.
Push it up.
Up.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Nice. So it's your opportunity. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly because I could be all technical and stuff, but this is live.
That's your version of PowerPoint.
This is what you got. This is what we got. So the opportunity sales number. What is it? What is it? Well, let me start out. It is a technique used in preparation for service advisors throughout the country. And I'm telling you, I've talked to the best of the best. The people on here right now are using it as we listen. I know you are because I've called you out already on this thread. You're using it. And this is what it is. You take the opportunity of your appointments. You look every day what your appointment thing is, and you come in, and either I would highly recommend for those who are starting out in this technique to do it the night before. Look at what your appointments are for the following day. You should know tomorrow I have 10 appointments. Great. Let's go through those appointments and let's identify the characteristics of those appointments that are coming in tomorrow. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the history. Let's check history. Let's identify, what are the buying habits of this person? What do you remember about them? What are you doing to be prepared to tell them, okay, they're coming in for an oil change and a tire rotation. They're due for a brake fluid service. They're due for a power steering service. They're due for a tire, balancing, maybe an alignment. It is identifying what the opportunity of your sales approach can be per appointment. And then putting all that together and identifying, saying, okay, I have 10 appointments. I have the opportunity. My opportunity sales number is $6,000 in parts and labor sales today. It's that simple. It's almost a no-brainer, right?
Now you're getting that number from, you're taking the appointment, you're looking at their mileage, their history, and then you're applying it to the, like a service menu. So the time and mileage menu, and saying it's due for these services, and then taking the total, and then also any other recommends, like if it was a tie rod or a valve cover gasket or anything like that that was recommended in the past. Are you including that in that opportunity sales number?
Yeah. So everything, past recommendations. And it's funny because I didn't pay attention to this. There are so many layers. I got people, some master service advisors in Indiana that are using this technique, and they go above and beyond. They're not only identifying the recommendations, they're identifying what are the driving habits. I'm looking at the last 3 visits for Mrs. Smith, and Mrs. Smith has come in and she's averaging about 4,000 to 5,000 miles a month. So that means that if I'm seeing her twice a year, this is the calculation. She should be right around this mileage. Now, what am I going to do? I'll tell you what, these people in Indiana call them the parts manager. Hey, I have an opportunity of probably selling a coolant service and maybe some hoses. Can we make sure we have those in stock? Can we make sure that we are prepped? Because if I have this opportunity, I also want to cover myself and say, how soon can I get this so I can make that, bring awareness to the consumer, right?
Okay, so I'm going to throw a monkey wrench at you.
Yeah, throw it in.
You remember when I was younger, I liked to throw wrenches. So
yeah, obviously, yeah, you've shared that with us. Trust me.
All right, so here's the thing. So the last store I was in, we would do between 60 and 80 cars a day, and we would take probably 6 to 10 appointments a day. In the beginning, that's how it was. That was our ratio. So how do you do that when you don't have any appointments? Is there a way to kind of set up your opportunity if you have less than half of your cars coming in are appointments?
So that's a great question, G-Man. I'll tell you, you just took me back in time to when I learned from one of the best service advisors I'd ever seen when I first started in the business. Her name was Donna. I cannot give you the last name, so I'm gonna call her Donna Smith. And we had an open drive. There were, at the time, 10 service advisors. I was one of them. She was the master service advisor, $1 million salesperson every year. She'd been with the customer for 15 years, and it was an open drive. I mean, we had 150 appointments a day, and whoever walked up to it, greeted them. If they asked for you, it was an appointment for them, or if they didn't ask for you, then it was free and clear. What she was doing, which I thought was absolutely genius, and they used to give her so much beef back in the day, going, oh, she cheats and she lies and she whatever. No, what she would do is when she made her own appointments, she would write them down on those daily planners, those things that
she had like a day timer.
The day timer, right? She would write the customer's name, the customer number, right? And what they were going to come in for, oil change or whatnot. And so what she would do is she would go back to her planner every day and say, okay, then she'd say, okay, this person's coming in. They're coming in at 10 o'clock. This matches my records. I'm here, everything. And so even though she knew that there was 150 appointments, she would look on that list. And I'm telling you, it was I was blown away. She would have at least 10 appointments on there, right? Prepped. And she would be like the one. And it was funny because she used to always be the one, oh, Donna's cherry picking. Donna, I'll tell you what right now. I walked to every single one of those customers and I would greet them myself because that was the rule. If you approach them and they don't ask for you, it's yours.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'd walk up to them and she'd be like, oh, I made my appointment with Donna a week ago. I'm supposed to ask for her. I've already have everything set up. She has everything set up for me. Okay. So there would come Jonna, greet the customer. Good to see you. I got everything ready for you. I know you need a shuttle. I know you need this. I know you need that. Right? Now, this is at one of the largest Honda stores in the Southeast. We were doing 150 to 300 cars a day, but it didn't faze Donna. It didn't faze her. She had total control of what she was going to write every single day because of her preparation. And she knew that OSN number. She'd come on out of her little cubicle and she'd tell people, all right, guys, it's going to be about a $12,000 day today. Let's make it happen. No, seriously. She got it. Every single time she got it. And so I started learning. I started learning that if I prepared myself, right, and I looked at those things, and I would then have a logbook or a method of connecting with my clients and knowing, okay, these people are coming in, or I set you up for this next week, then I'm going to know what is available for me and for you, and I'm going to prepare myself for that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, she was a genius, an absolute genius. She killed it. I learned from her. And then it was applied. I applied it to other people. And I'll tell you what, Joey, who used to work with us, did the same exact thing. As a matter of fact, I would always wonder, I'm like, Joey, why do you get to work so early? I'm over here like winging it. I mean, this is years later. This is 10 years later. And I'm walking into the BMW store and Joey was already there. And I'd be like, Joey, what are you doing? And he would have his appointment sheet and he'd be looking every single thing, writing it down. He had every pre-write. And when he's writing, and then look at him like, Joey, you're a genius, man. Where did you learn? And he goes, it's just my system, man. It's my system to know what I have to remind the customers about, because it's my duty and responsibility to inform them, right? Where somebody like me, I got a little cocky and I would do things on the fly and I lost my system. I had to go back to the basics when I was suffering for a couple of months, where yourself and Vicky were getting on to me going, hey, what's going on with your numbers, Jair? What's going on with your numbers? And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And it was because I was losing the process. You have to go back to the basics of setting up your thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing right now too, because if you've got low traffic. So I talked to one of our managers this morning, and he said they've actually been shut down for a little while. They just opened back up again, and he said that they had 40 appointments today. And I thought, which is about half of what they're normally going to do, maybe a little less than half. So it's going to be slow. However, like, what a great opportunity to do this OSN, right? To now you've got less appointments, you've got the same amount of staff. So why not go through and try to figure out what the opportunity is before those customers land? It's going to be a heck of a lot easier to pitch if you're an advisor, if you've got that information up front. You're going to feel a lot more confident. Like, you're not trying to look it up on the fly. And I know a lot of guys are good at that. Like you said, hey, I could wing it and I could figure it out. And there's a lot of guys that are good at that. But for me, particularly, I needed a system as an advisor. I was a tech, for many years. I was not a good advisor. And so I had to have a system, and having that in place would have been a huge help to me, to be able to go through and really kind of pre-frame what I'm going to talk to that customer about long before the customer lands,
Yeah, and so that's one of the techniques that we use in our coaching, right? Is we tell the advisors, you really want to be, especially those that have teams. We had a team, and I learned it reset me as a service advisor when I looked at Joey do that, because then he was programming his lead technician to come and ask him every morning, not how many appointments, how much is the opportunity, how many hours can we get today? And so I started doing that with my technician or my lead technician. I go, hey guys, I have 7 appointments today. And sometimes with technicians, when they see a low number of appointments, they get discouraged because they're like, oh, great, But if you could tell them, I have 7 appointments, but I have a possibility of 30 hours to sell today, then they're pumped up. Now they're like, oh, okay, or 50 hours or whatever.
You're going to have a bad day. I just remember this from being a tech. If I know I'm going to have a bad day, I don't even want to start.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to get my hands dirty. I don't want it's like, really? Like, I for what? For nothing? I don't even really want to get started. But if like there's work lined up and you've got a job that's got hours on it, you get excited. You're like, okay, I'm going to make some money today. And it kind of gets you pumped up and gets you moving. So, I mean, that's a huge help to the technicians too. If they knew the opportunities coming in, would be a huge help to your staff to get them motivated, especially right now when morale is probably at an all-time low. You can use this opportunity sales number to be able to get your people pumped up. So let's say, even if you only have 40 appointments, you could look at all 40 of those and say, hey, I've got X number of hours on here that we can just off the menu that we can upsell. Plus this customer, declined a couple of repairs. We're going to pitch these things up front. You can show your techs, hey, look, we have this opportunity and this is what we're going to try to go get, which would get them, excited about the day and not walking in going, or, playing Eeyore, like, woe is me. It's never going to work. Right.
Right. And I'll tell you what, too. I mean, what we used to do it, right, G-Man, where we played our part as service managers, right, as the leaders to encourage this kind of action by doing simple things like, I'll tell you right now, I'd be like, hey, any appointments that you convert, the first 3 things you get on the board, you get a bonus. We'd have a spiff or whatnot. We play games with it. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a moment in time where I'll never forget, we had recalls, and you'd look at the appointment sheet and be like, oh, well, I have 10 appointments, but 7 of them are recalls, right? So what we would do as management is we'd be like, okay, let's have fun with this. First person to convert gets $5. First person, you know, because then it would make you prepare even more. You'd be like, man, I know this person's only coming in for a simple recall, but if I can get one thing and build that connection and create a relationship with this person, then it will go a long way, and it's going to help my numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Play a game with it. You know, first person to convert off the list, right? Like you're saying, you know, get a, you know, play a game with your advisors. Whoever converts 30% of their opportunity sales number, you know, get X, or can roll dice, or can play a hand of cards for $20, or, I mean, do something. You know, just create some energy out of it. I know there's, you know, we hate throwing money around, especially right now when money's tight, but you know, you got to get something going. You got to create some energy and some momentum. And if you got with lack of any other resource, at least you can throw a couple of bucks at it, 5, 10, 20, buy them lunch, bet them on, you know, dinner, whatever. I mean, just think about anything you can kind of throw out there to try to help get them excited. If you've got, you know, anything lying around from any vendors, iPads, or geez, I can't even think of anything else, honestly. But you know, anything that comes in, I know one time I saw a dealer had a electric leaf blower in his closet. He got from a tire vendor.
That's funny.
Yeah, use that as a, you know, hey, I could use that right now, actually.
Yeah.
But at any rate, anything can be a contest. Anything can be used as a prize. Doesn't necessarily have to be money. But money always works the best. But just think about that. What can you do to drive a little bit of energy? The other thing I want to kind of tag on to what you're talking about with the opportunity sales there. And I'm going to post this because I can't remember the name of the software company, and I apologize for that. But there was a software that allows you to wait or check in and virtually wait for an oil change. And so you have an app on your phone, you look and see how long the line is to get an oil change. You put yourself in line, and it basically says your kind of appointment is going to be at, let's say, 2:00, or it's 2 hours from now, right?
Oh, that's cool.
And then you could go shopping, you can go to the restaurant, and then, oh, it's my time. Then you go to the dealership and you get in line. And there's 2 benefits. One is you don't have customers sitting in your waiting room for 2 hours. You can knock them in and out really, really fast. And then the second benefit of that is this OSN. So if you use that type of technology, then you know your waiter oil changes that are coming in. You could have somebody in your cashier booth or your BDC look up what the OSN is for that car before they ever land in your drive. And I think, you know, if you spend a little bit of energy on this number and on this preparation, I promise you, your sales will go up pretty dramatically just by focusing in on that. And I'll post I can't remember the name of the software company, but I'll give them a free plug, and I'll post that once this is over.
Oh, that's nice of you, G-Man, with the free plug.
Yeah.
Don't get used to that out there, vendors. No, this is great input. Now, last thing I want to leave you with, OSN is fantastic, right? But this is where I'm going to tell you where I see, even when you try it, I'm going to tell you where OSN fails. You do all this preparation to then tee up the opportunity that you have with your client, right? And then you get that to happen, and you're doing it, right? And you tee it up, and then you present, and then they say no, okay? Because they say no doesn't mean that it disappears. You still have to document it, give them in the report, let them know you talked to them about it, and you send them on their way with this documentation and proof that you talked about it. Also, you put it again in your computer system as a recommendation, so you know next time it's something that you bring up again, right? Time and time again, I see service advisors who are trying to get it done, and what they do is they go up and they talk about it, and then it just disappears. And so you come across to the consumer as, oh, this guy's just salesy. Like he did all this preparation. Now that I said no, you know, I'm not interested. He's not going to be interested in me. He's going to do something. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. Be diligent. It takes a lot of discipline. And that's why I said on here at the very get-go, some of you are going to fail, and it's not because of trying, it's because of not doing it completely, right? So that's my tip of the day. I like to go OSN. It's made thousands upon thousands of more sales for service advisors, millionaire service advisors. I've talked to them across the country, and I said, what's the one thing? And they say, hey, preparation is key. And having that discipline and system and process in place will get you to the promised land that you want to be able to reach.
Jocko Willink always says discipline equals freedom.
That's 100% right. 100% right. And let me transfer it to you this way. If you could be disciplined in doing these steps and these processes on a daily, that one time you want a day off, or that one time you're asking to leave early, that's your freedom. The discipline will give you that freedom, right? So, be prepared out there, do your thing. And that's pretty much all I got. That's OSN. It's that simple. It's that simple. And it's so funny because the simplicities of things are sometimes so hard to adapt, right?
It is true.
It's like,
that's why the weight loss industry is a $1 billion industry,
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Is
it's the simplest stuff, but we just got to execute on it. And fortunately, this is a lot more fun than working out and trying to sweat off the extra pounds. Making a couple extra bucks in your pocket's a heck of a lot more fun. So,
it's a heck of a lot more fun, and you start seeing it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, look at the stores right now that we've been helping. I mean, their gross profit per ticket has gone up just 30%. I mean, right? I mean, look at it. And they were like, oh, how are we going to do this? It's bringing awareness. It's having a system. It's the discipline behind it. And somehow you just look at the numbers and go, holy cow, they're going up.
Yeah. I mean, even in face of this thing, there's still the gross profit per RO for those stores I looked at it this morning is still up. So, I mean, it's working, it's even working in this challenging economy. So I would say, the more granular, the more detailed you can get, the better off you're going to be right now.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. All right, that's all I got for today. Tomorrow we'll come out with another tip video, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. G-Man, looking nice and dapper as always. I appreciate what you're doing. Hair looks good. My hair, I had to get up and do a little thing here today. But guys, give us your feedback. Remember, like this page, share it with people, and then turn on your notifications so you know when we're up and running with some new videos. G-Man.
Yeah, take this time. Improve your skills, sharpen your saw. What does Stephen Covey always say? You're so busy chopping wood, you don't have time to sharpen the saw. Or sharpen the axe. So yeah, sharpen it now. This is the time. So stay with us, and you can pick up a couple of small tips off of this. Then we've done our job, and it was worth your time. So that's it.
All right. Thank you everybody for being on. We will see you again tomorrow.
Okay.
Right, man?
That's it. See you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow. We out.